So this is Luma, should be how you registered for this class. And I wanted to go over the various types of classes that we have. So you're in the 101, which is for beginner, of course. We also have some special topics. We have the plugins. You do have to apply sort of to be into that. That is also in the Slack channel to do that. You can still attend because that is one of the requirements to actually get access to plugins, which is a feature within Sudowrite. You do need to watch the videos and learn how to use them. This is our book in a month thing. That is for, you have to apply for that one. And then we have a Discord open house coming up because we are moving to Discord and there's a lot of people that don't really know how to use it. Please feel free to register for that. In case you're worried, none of these classes cost you anything. This is all included in your subscription. We have another one. This is a new one coming up. And what I wanted to show y'all is this Write With Me week that starts tomorrow, if I have my days in my head correct. Yes, Tuesday. So this starts tomorrow and it runs 4 days in a row. We have four sessions. This is perfect for beginners. And if you're even an advanced user, I think you're going to get some benefit out of this. The way I am going to structure these classes, and the reason I'm doing this session in particular a different way today, is in these classes right here, these Write With Me's, we are going to start working through Story Engine together. So every single box we will work through together. You can use my story, do one of your own. You don't have to share anything, but this is going to be a very slow-paced class so that if you have a question about that box or something didn't come out right, you can't figure out how to get things worded correctly, that is the purpose of these Write With Me sessions that we have. These are new. This is the first time I'm doing this session, this series, but I think it's going to be a good benefit because you get so many chunks in all these little classes. So if you're able to attend these 4 days, by the end of it, you're going to know what each box does. You're going to know how to refine things. So our first day, maybe 2 days, are going to be more beginner level. And then the third and fourth days will be very, going into the more advanced things. So feel free to register for those. I did cap the limit, but there's a wait list and I don't think it's going to be high. So probably everybody that registers for this is going to get approved. The regular classes, of course, like I said, we have the 101 that we're doing today, 301 for advanced topics. I don't recommend going into the 301s until you have a good grasp of how Story Engine works. So maybe once you've been using it a couple of weeks, you understand what each box does, you know how to get everything generated, but you're ready to make that output better. That's when you will get the most out of the 301s. Manon, if you're a French writer, Manon has a session of stories in French. Regular romance, Danica does the more clean romance, a little bit of spice too. Let me see. And then Monique and I run the 401 and you will see a 40, well, we don't have the 402 version up, but we alternate Sundays between 401 and 402. So spicy on one Sunday, dark and taboo on the other Sunday. And these 201s are usually where people spend a lot of their time, in between that 101 and 301. And once you got a grasp on everything in the 101s and 201s, like I said, that's when you'll get the most benefit out of the 301s because you won't be stuck there worrying about some basic stuff. Any questions on the classes or anything? All righty.
How long did they last?
Typically, they last about an hour. Me and Miss Lynn especially, we tend to just kind of go over until we've answered all the questions. So unless there's another class butting up against me to where I have to, log off, and the same with Miss Lynn, unless we absolutely have to log off, we'll stay however long we need to help people. I am thinking the Write With Me's might be going 2 hours just to help everybody that has questions and everything. I don't really know. That's, like I said, this is the first time we're doing that series. So we will see. But I would have y'all in there.
A quick question. Are the times that these are meeting, like the Write With Me, I noticed meets at 8 p.m. Is that Eastern time?
That is Eastern. One thing about Luma too, if you come right here in your settings, you're able to set up your time zone. So I just didn't switch it to my time zone.
Cool.
So it's 7 Central for me.
Great,
And
thanks.
you do have to actually switch that. It's annoying, but you have to switch that every time you log into Luma, or just keep in mind the regular, it's normally Eastern.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. And another way, that is the direct website right there. I just favorite it to my toolbar, but you can also access that through here. Not here, sorry. I'm jumping ahead of myself. This one, this purple box, it's always at the top. These others change periodically, but this box is always going to bring you to the Luma registration page for you to register for classes. So let's go over some other things real quick. You won't have this plugins beta unless, of course, you are in the program. The setting, the gear icon right here is a way for you to control all of the little things. Like normally, I believe indent paragraphs is off. I just like to have those. You can change the theme if you like dark. You got cauldron and charcoal. If you prefer light, you have the ice cream color one. I don't know how people work with those. And of course, you could do line spacing if you want. And you can always adjust your text size. And the font's right here. The major parts that people are interested right here is the word count. So of course you can manage your membership and everything, but this is going to tell you how many words you have left for the month. If you hover over it, you'll see that little pop-up that shows you when your words expire, when they renew. And you'll see there's one that says 275, and then there's one that says 18. Those differences are the top part is my subscription words, the bottom part are word packs. So if you're running out of words here, let's say you got like 5,000 words left, you need to finish a couple of chapters, so you need more words. You can just click this buy more words right here, and it's going to bring you to the word packs that you can choose from. They recently changed this, and I love the new pricing because it used to be like 150,000 for $90. So this is great. The best thing about these word packs is, like it says, these do not expire at all. So let's say again, you have that 5,000 remaining from your subscription, and you buy, let's just say you buy the, go with the big one or whatever. And your subscription renews in a week and you have not used that 100,000 or 200,000 that you purchased. So as soon as your subscription renews, it will start pulling from that again. So your word pack will stop being used and it will pull from the subscription. There have been instances on one of my accounts, actually it did it, where it pulled from my word packs instead of subscription. Just email hi@Sudowrite. hi@Sudowrite.com right there. Let them know what happened, and they will fix it right away. So any question on the word packs? Like I said, word packs don't expire, your subscription words do. This 275 that I have, sorry, I keep wanting to put my mouse over the box, but it moves as soon as I pull away. That 275, let's say if I don't use it this month, well, I'm out of luck. It's gone. The word packs, though, will always be there until you use them. And everything that is generated by the AI, everything it generates come out of your word count. That is a frequently asked questions, and some people, I don't know what triggers it, but some people think maybe some areas don't count the way others do. It all counts. This question mark right here, you got the FAQ, got the link to join the Slack. Sometimes this link is broken. That's why I always like to do the direct link. You can read the little Sudowrite guide that Sudowrite made. Suggest a feature. So if you've been using it and you say, hey, you know what, this would be great, you can actually make the post right here and then people can upvote it. And this is how the developers determine what gets implemented next. The higher up on the list it is, that's when they really start looking at it, because this says, hey, this is what a lot of users want. And that's what they want to do, is appeal to the majority. And of course, you can report a bug, email, and chat with them. Any questions on any of this? Just the little settings, the classes, the word packs, any of that before we dive into the features?
Nope, I think we're good.
Madeline says she has a different price for the pack.
That's what I'm seeing. That is curious. Do you have the old one where it's like 150 words for $90? Okay. So I don't know. It shouldn't matter about the subscription level though. Have you confirmed that with anyone writing magic? Because I was at the previous level, and I was still showing that upgrade.
Yeah, I'm on the professional, not the max. I'm on the professional level, and my prices are different than yours. And then someone just posted they're on the hobby and student level. They don't even get the large and extra large pack. They only get the first two even. So I think it depends on your subscription level.
I'm going to bring that up to their attention because we need to see if we can get that fixed across the board. I'll bring that to their attention.
Yeah, because it's on Slack. Someone had posted, and he was the hobby student. His prices are different, and he doesn't even get the large and extra large. Their prices are different. So,
okay, I'm going to ask why.
Yeah, I'm just assuming it has to do with your level.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll ask them.
Yeah, I would be curious too. But
right. I always like to have the answer, so we will get them for you. Unless Manon maybe feels like hopping over into Slack right now, maybe asking in the ambassadors channel for us.
Yeah.
If not, no worries. We will get that taken care of and get a response out for the next class.
I'm on it right now. Because I have the same
Excuse
pack
me.
in Unicorn, and I have the 90,000 subscription.
Okay. Excuse me while I take a drink.
So Madeline, which subscription do you have? The lowest one?
Yeah, just ask them what the price difference is for the varying with the word packs, why varying tiers have different price levels. See if we can get an explanation to let people know. All right. So when you're logged into Sudowrite, this is your main screen. And obviously I've been working in this for a while, so I have some. You won't have these cards. That's what we call these project cards right here. So you'll make a new one. Now let's say you did some work inside this and you logged off and you logged back in and you want to do a new story, but it brings you to the screen. That generally happens when it's your first project. Just click this home button again. You'll have that one little project card from your first story. Just create another one. That's all you need to do for a new project. You don't have to delete anything else to make room or anything like that. These little icons right here. Where's my canvas? Okay. So this one's going to take you directly to Story Engine content. This may be going away, and that's because of the new user interface I'm going to show you. I don't know yet. They haven't mentioned it. I foresee it being kind of useless once we roll out the new user interface to everybody. But as of right now, this brings you directly to your Story Engine content if you have that. This brings you to Canvas content, which is where you can do some outlining, and I will show you those. So I made this. Recent update is now projects are auto named, just going in random not random numbers. Just as you create a project, it'll keep going up for the number and naming it, but you can of course change it to whatever you want. This user interface is obviously different if you've been playing around with it from what you've seen if you don't have this. So you'll see the story Bible here on the left. On your version, it will likely say Story Engine. And that's where that tool comes in handy on the project card, because on the old user interface, you just had Story Engine right here and you had to click into it to go into there. But now if I click into it, it doesn't do anything because this is the new interface where you no longer have to click and go to a separate screen. It is all going to be here on the same screen now. We do have the canvas. I will show you that before we dive into everything else. So if I click on canvas, the first time you go into this, it's going to have a big tutorial for you. Don't make the mistake I did of thinking you can follow along with the tutorial and do as it says and not use up your words. It uses up your words. I used up like 1,000 words, not knowing I was doing it. But you can read through the tutorial to understand. After you do the tutorial, it's going to go away. You can't get it back. I have asked for it to be toggled back on. That's not a high priority though. So if you go into it again, you're going to have the blank screen. You can generate just a blank card for whatever you need. Might want to do some notes. Another little title spot. And if you want to delete them, just click on them, click the delete key on your... I swear this program likes to make a liar out of me every time. I should be able to delete that. There we go. All right. It's usually easier, but there's something I swear every time I go into this for a class, it decides to give me a hard time on this. For your outline, that's this 1, 2, 3 box. Just click on it. Let me zoom out a little bit if I can. Wrong direction. Okay. So it'll bring up some outline. If you use your mouse wheel, you can scroll up and down on it. If you hold the shift key down and scroll with your mouse wheel, it goes side to side. Navigation is a little tricky at times. I've also learned the other day, if you just scroll up and down, it slowly starts moving to the side too. So whatever works for you. So this is your outline. You have the option of Hero's Journey, Hollywood Beats, Story Circle, or Romance. Right. So what I like about Canvas Outline, I think this is particularly useful if you have portions of your outline that you know, but you don't know all of it. So you'll see we have this main concept box up here. It can hold up to 500 words for your story idea. And then you can just generate full outline and it's going to generate everything here. Let's just say you already know parts of your story. So we're going to put some words here. We know all this beginning stuff. Something is wrong with my interface. It looks weird. They changed something. All right, so let's say you know those parts. You don't really know that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you don't know exactly where that's supposed to go, just get it as close as you can. And we've got the words there. And then we know how we want the story to end. So we just kind of put all that in. Now I just have words here written in each box. So this isn't going to make sense to the AI. But if this were your actual story plot points, and you had these blank ones, these blank cards that you needed to fill in, you click this. Can y'all see this good enough? There we go. You click where it says fill me in. It will read back what is in the previous boxes and fill in this box. And you could do that again, going for each one that you need to fill in. You can make all the changes you want. Ooh. This is what I mean about the thing being kind of tricky. If you click this generate full outline, so right now we have words in all these boxes, right? If I click this, like I said, this will hold up to 500 words. I'm just going to put a basic premise right here and click this generate full outline. It is going to overwrite everything in these boxes. So if you have your outline portions, do not click this generate full outline. It will overwrite everything. Use the individual fill me in on those boxes. Okay, and in the chat, Manal said, yeah, prices do depend on what plan you are in. I'll see if I can dig into that. I'm curious as to what's going on with that. Oh, and it's taking a little while. Sorry about that, y'all. Any questions on Canvas so far? While this is generating, well, Of course it did that. I'm going to share this document with y'all. If you do not have Notion, you do not have to pay for it to access this document. There is a free version of Notion, which I actually use. I don't pay for it. So you might have to sign up for the account. That's it. You don't have to pay for anything. But I am going to give y'all the link to this document. And what this does is I have some links here to my books, but also the way I love Notion is you can organize everything. That's what makes this so good. Because before I was giving everybody in my classes a bunch of Google Docs and just an extensive mess of pages. So now that I've taken things in the story to Notion, I can organize them. So if you click on where it says Sudowrite proper, they'll have a little canvas section, first draft, and talking about the laser tools. And then I have the Story Bible, which is Story Engine. Remember, Story Bible is just the new name for Story Engine. That's it. Everything still works the same. And then I have things that I do for each box and all of that in here. I have my prompts project, which was a frequently requested item from all of my other classes. So I put all of my prompts here for y'all. Y'all now have all kinds of access to this. As I come up with new prompts, I will be putting them in here as well. And then, of course, if you write spicy content, I have a little section on all of that. So pretty much everything I know, you now know with that document. All right, so let's look at this real quick. I don't want to get an extensive, like I said, I wanted to do this class a little differently than I've done the others. I'll just show you a few features. Just moving those around. It bothers me that they're overlapping like that. So we now have the full story that was generated. And we can go through, make all the changes that we want. If I want to delete stuff, if I want to add stuff in. I do not know what each individual card, how much it holds. I need to find that out. But you can make all the changes you want here. Now let's say you go through them. Sorry, I need to scroll out just a little bit because I can't see very well. Zoom out, that's what I meant. All right. I'm just going to look at these real quick and try to find one with some action. I don't like this one. This meeting the mentor. Of course, that was because I didn't pick a great outline model to do this particular story. So you can click this box. Let's just say you don't like any of it. There's nothing here worth keeping. And you don't really have any ideas for how you want this to go. You click the box and you can click this generate options. It's going to give you 3 ideas. I'll put those in the middle. Something to keep in mind with this. Again, if you were doing the option where you were filling in those portions, and let's say you got to one particular box that it filled in and you wanted to generate options because you didn't like any of those, it is not going to let you generate options for a card if nothing is in this box. That doesn't mean you have to click this button. You don't have to do that at all. You could do something just as simple as putting your genre in this box. But something needs to be in this box for it to be able to generate options because it reads that and it needs to take that information into account. So keep that in mind. If you have everything filled in for your portions of the outline and you want to generate, you can either write your premise here or just do something as simple as putting in your genre. So now it generated our 3 options. And this is where it's going to mess with me again, I don't want to do that. I just want to move it. And get the 3rd one down here. All right, so it has the 3 options right here. Let me look through them real quick. like this one. All right, so I like this one, this middle one right here. So I'm going to replace this old one. We are going to drag it and hover it over that box. And then it just snaps into place. Once you see those dashed lines come up, you can drop it. And again, we can just delete these. If you want, you could copy them out into Sudowrite proper, into a document. Okay. We have 4 options here. Inside Story Bible, Story Engine, you actually have 5? I want to say 6, but only 5 are coming to mind by name. If you're unfamiliar with these, I recommend just going on to like Google or something, or ChatGPT. You can always ask them, hey, what is the Hero's Journey template? What is the Hollywood Beats template? And it also tells you which these compare to, like Hollywood Beats compare it to Save the Cat, sorry. The romance outline compared to Romancing the Beats. But if we go into ChatGPT real quick, I can say, because, you know, I don't want to have to read through a bunch of blogs and watch YouTube videos to discuss all them. I want to get something quick and condensed. Can you explain to me the difference between the outline formats for Hero's Journey and Hollywood Beats? I think that was supposed to be a lowercase w. So it'll give you some information real quick. To answer the question that's in chat to me, I have GPT-4 that's outside of Sudowrite. You could do the same with GPT 3.5 if you don't want to pay for 4. I like 4, I have 4, so I use it. There was a chat feature. I can't demonstrate it right now because for whatever reason in the new interface, I'm not on that screen to show you real quick. But there was a chat feature they were working on inside Sudowrite to where you could actually talk with chat essentially about your story and things. I don't know if that's something they're going to continue to work on or what. I will bring that up with them again. Again, we just asked chat because let's just say I have no clue about the difference in these outline models. So it's going to tell me this is what's involved in the Heroes world. This is what's involved in Hollywood Beats. Both formats revolve around 3-act structure and have similarities. Hero's Journey focuses on the internal and external transformation. Hollywood Beats provides a more structured blueprint. So I can also ask, as I say I'm not understanding. So can you give me examples of when each one would be used for a story? I could also ask it something like, does one of these fit for a certain genre better, more than the other? Okay, so it's using Star Wars for the Hero's Journey and Finding Nemo for the Beats. I don't think this is going to give me what I actually wanted. So what that's doing, I'm going to, when would I use one or the other? It might give me that in the summary. That's why I'm waiting. And this is why, too, it's important, you know, if you're unfamiliar with something, go ahead and talk with chat to try to learn about that aspect of the writing craft. Whatever you need, this is very helpful. Or read the books. Okay, So no, it didn't tell me. So I'm just gonna say, when would I use one or the other? Okay, it's just going to, okay, no, it's summarizing. I thought it was fixing to give me all those steps again. Okay, so it tells you hero's journey works well for epic tales, fantasy, and stories that focus on transformation of the main character. Hollywood beats, tailored for commercial films, for targeting mainstream audiences. So just a way you can do that for each of these. Okay. Oh, you know what I think this is? I'm going to refresh because I'm hoping that's what I think it is. And y'all will get to see it. For those in the class yesterday, you already saw it.
Yep.
Let me get back into here. I'm not going to jump over that. I'm going to finish what we were doing. All right. So now let's say all of this is good, right? You have your outline the way you want it, and you want to copy it over. Click these three dots on this main screen right here. Copy outline to clipboard, and we're going to click on back to project. Let me discuss this real quick. You see this box right here? Well, I don't need this box. This is for your beats, and I'm not working on beats right now. So I can click this typewriter icon. This is, I'm sorry, this is when you have the new user interface, which they do expect y'all will have within 1 to 2 weeks, unless that was for the update. But I don't think they've worked out the last of the bugs yet. So I don't think it's quite ready for release. But with the new version, you can just click away with this. If you do not have this new version, you are just going to have a screen similar to this every time you have a doc right here, a blank doc. So I'm going to, and this is the thing I wanted to show. They haven't fixed it yet, but it is on their list, I promise. So if I just paste regular, it puts it in as one gigantic paragraph. So I'm going to undo this. So you want to do your shift paste without formatting, which on the PC is Shift Control V, on the Mac is Shift Command V, or you can do the right click with your mouse and paste without formatting. All righty, let me just, I really wish they'd put some extra spacing in this. It bugs me. Normally, I would actually start going into all of this, which I will later, but I want to continue going over all of the general features first. Because again, we have the other classes that you can watch for the videos. I would like to give you a different aspect of something you're not going to see in a video already. You know, kind of almost giving you 2 classes in one. So that's how you copy over your Canvas outline. Any questions about Canvas?
So if you already have your outline, then you don't really need Canvas then, right? Or do you still recommend it?
If you have your full outline, I don't think you need Canvas for anything, unless you would want to put your outline in there and maybe find some additional suggestions. But I mean, if you're happy with it, no, you don't need Canvas.
Okay.
I said, I think it shines the most whenever you just need those little sections filled in.
I see.
Okay, so on the new user interface that y'all will have access soon too soon. Sorry, I worded that wrong. This is one of my favorite things. So again, let's just say we have our whole story done and we are in editing mode. So we want our screen to look right like this, correct? We don't want those little boxes around. So we're going to click, get rid of that box, but I also don't want this side stuff. So these arrows here, the side and up here. And now I can stretch my screen. So now I have this very nice focus thing for my editing. And let's just say I want to use the laser tools, because I love to use the laser tools in my editing. I can just pop that one back out and use those. So for laser tools like the rewrite, describe, I could be highlighting something and use whichever one I want. Bring these back. All right. You can make additional new docs right here. Click add new. You'll have this one. You can rename it right here by clicking on the 3 dots, or just rename it here and it will, you got to click out of it and then it'll pop over here. Another thing people like to do is create a doc, rename it, and make some little lines. And you can put emojis right here, go to a website that does the copy paste emojis. You can actually put emojis here. And that just helps people differentiate, put some space. So you might have all your planning docs in one area, then you want an option like this to kind of sort it through from your chapters. Or like say a bunch of character stuff, a document like this, then some world building things. There's things you could do, and you can easily duplicate it for your different sections. There you go. So now I'm going to turn on Story Bible. For those who have Story Engine and you have work that you have filled out inside Story Engine, you don't have to copy all of your information. The first time you go into a project that has Story Engine chapter work done or Story Engine information, everything is going to start populating into these. So if you have your boxes filled out from Story Engine, it will get carried over into these. If you have chapters already done with Beats and Prose, you're going to see a bunch of documents populate the first time you log into that project. Each one will say Story Engine, chapter, whatever. It is kind of a little slow process, but maybe a minute takes depending on how many chapters you actually have. So that will populate over here into the new version whenever you get it. You don't have to worry about that. If for whatever reason it isn't there, again, email the hi@sudowrite.com. 99% of the time they can recover any information. I actually can't off the top of my head think of any time someone said the information wasn't able to be recovered. Could be wrong, but I don't personally remember that. All right, so the Story Bible is turned on. These are the same boxes that is in Story Engine. The main differences are, again, we no longer have to click to go into Story Engine. It's now under our doc. So if I turn Story Bible back off, I have this doc that we filled out, right? I scroll down and that's it. That's as far as it's going. It's not going anymore. But as soon as I turn Story Bible on, I can now scroll down and it goes into all those boxes. And this is another favorite feature because after you start getting all your boxes filled out, you can just, let's say you're in outline and you're fixing to do another chapter or something, and you need to change your style, you can quickly click into that and change your style. Obviously, if you've played around with Story Engine, you know Story Engine does a horizontal scroll. So all of these boxes are one after the other, left to right. And now we have the vertical scroll. There was talk of having the option to do a horizontal scroll toggled on or off. I don't know if that's still in the works. I don't know if it's a popular enough request to, for them to focus on, because they're still working on getting some other major improvements out, such as Rewrite 2.0, which is going to make the laser tools a little bit better. So I'm just going to quickly go over these, because we're already almost at the hour. The brain dump.
If they did Story Engine, they just put it in tabs or something like that, because scrolling horizontally is a pain, but vertically can be a pain too if it starts to fill up.
Yeah.
And that's put it in tabs.
And that's the good thing about being able to click into this. If I put a whole bunch of words here and this brain dump box is essentially taking up my whole screen, I don't want to have to scroll down through the whole to get to my outline. I can just click over here into outline and go down into it.
Good point.
I don't know why it's doing this. Normally it just jumps straight to it. This is a little bug. I need to report that. I thought I had, but I don't think I did. So brain dump is, you can do two things here. Let's say you know your story idea. You can put all the information you know about your story. You have a 2,000 word limit though. Keep that in mind. I recommend, if you're just now using Story Engine, please, I know we want to bring in all of our half-written stories and get them finished. I did that too. It resulted in 2 weeks of frustration because I didn't know how to use the program. So I was sitting there trying to learn how to use it and at the same time trying to get it to do what I want. You can't get it to do what you want if you don't know how to use it, correct? So I recommend starting with a story from scratch. If you don't have a story from scratch idea, or let's just say, well, Nicole, I don't really want to invest a lot of time in another story, especially one I'm not going to publish. I want to get to those other ones. Do a fairy tale. It sounds crazy, but fairy tales can be adapted to any genre. We have done Creepy Pinocchio, we've done Evil Cinderella, we've done Reverse Harem for Goldilocks and the Three Bears with them as Bear Shifter brothers. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with these. And everybody loved Evil Cinderella, so I'm just going to do that one real quick. So I'm going to tell it, I'm trying to think of the genre because it helps when you put that in. Oh, do I want it more psychological thriller? Okay, let's do it. Let's write a psychological thriller retelling of Cinderella. And I'm going to show y'all a couple of things. Okay, so I got this right here. Just write a psychological thriller retelling of Cinderella. In here, in the documents I gave y'all, I actually have templates y'all can use to fill these out in a very detailed way, but I'm going to keep it simple for now. It's like, I don't know why I put that, sorry. And this is where you would put the various aspects that you want. And I'm just going to go ahead and put third person, past tense, because that's the way I like to write. And I'm not going to go in depth. Do we want to? We'll save that. Normally, if I'm doing like any of this, I like to do like bloody depictions of gore. The best tip I can give you right off the bat for style, especially if you start writing violent content or spicy content, is a tip another user, Text Rodboxer, gave to me way back when we were still testing Story Engine. Think of the TV and movie rating system, like PG-13. So you could actually tell it up here, write a psychological thriller retelling of Cinderella as a PG-13 novel. It actually does understand that. I like going more in depth. So if you look at, say, a rated, what is it, R17 or N17, something like that, you know how they normally give you, especially on Netflix, they'll give you things that they looked at. So they'll tell you, oh, this has people using drugs, or this has people drinking alcohol, or, graphic sexual content. Those are the types of words that I use here. I might use mild alcohol use, heavy alcohol use, same with drugs, or I'll put, if I want mild violence, extreme violence, bloody depictions of gore, like I said, just look at those ratings and bring those in. I think you'll find those help a lot. So we have the basic genre and style. And again, I have the detailed formats because I do like to max out these boxes as much as possible. All right, so I'll just click to generate the synopsis. This is the portion where you would read through and decide if you want to change anything. You can make manual edits here. You could ask it to rewrite, like say you were trying to make it super dark and it didn't do that. I could say rewrite, make it more, well, like it says, more dramatic. I would say maybe add in some additional plot points, or if I wanted a tragic ending, I would say rewrite to make it a tragic ending. So this is your first step of the major editing process. You will go through this and edit to your liking. Let me just see. I wanted to see if it did this a certain way. So she's got the wicked stepmother and sisters. Okay, so she's cleaning the penthouse of a wealthy businessman. Her mother's death was orchestrated by her stepmother. So we did something a little bit different. So this is, let's just say this gave you a different idea. And I'm going to use the idea we had in another class just as an example. Let's just say you were reading this, you didn't really like it, but thought, you know what if Cinderella isn't the victim here? So we can say, write a psychological thriller retelling of Cinderella, where Cinderella is a serial killer, just for example. Actually, I want to copy this because I want to put in another way too.
Kind of scares me what direction this is going in, but it's good.
And for horror writers,
That's certainly the twist.
for horror writers, I'm telling y'all, I don't know what it is, but Sudowrite does amazing at writing horror. A lot of people have issues with some other aspects, but every time I've tried generating horror with it, it just seems to really nail it. Still needs that editing, still needs your writer touch, but it does really good at it.
The statement about your programmers, I think.
Okay, in the dark and twisted world of Cinderella's revenge, she's not the victim. She's a calculating and ruthless serial killer who seeks revenge on those who have wronged her. I like that so far. I really do. Okay, invited to attend the grand ball. This is where I would start making some adjustments. Like if I was writing this, I would say, you know what, this day and age, we're probably not going to a ball, might do something else.
So you can change it right here then, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir. And let's just say you change something, or like for this second synopsis I just generated, because I had clicked this button again, right? Let's just say, oh, you know what? There was a part in that other one that I liked. There's this history button. Click it. I can go over here, find the other version, and I can, copy whatever I wanted, exit out. Or let's just say I wanted to put this one back all together. I can click this restore, and it's going to replace the second version.
Cool.
All right. So I'm not going to mess with this, but yeah, just edit anything to your liking. Let's see what else I would change here. Multiple victims, intricate timing. We see the aftermath, and then it is, of course, asking some questions for you to think about. So again, let's just say you like the majority of it. It wasn't quite right, but you didn't have any ideas. You could rewrite here to let it know kind of what you wanted. Do you want some more drama added to it? Do you want a stronger climax? Do you want that tragic ending? Whatever, you can use that rewrite here. And again, keep in mind, when you click that rewrite, it's going to rewrite all of this, which is essentially doubling your word count. Both times we generated synopsis, those words came out of our thing. And if you use rewrite, that's coming out too. And this is why, again, I do suggest spending your words that first month, learning how to use it. Because once you know how to use those boxes, you can start refining things right away, and you have to use this rewrite box a lot less, or you know exactly what you need to bring in to Story Engine and Story Bible in the first place. And excuse me, I still try to use those words interchangeably. I'm so used to saying Story Engine, so I try to catch myself and say Story Bible, so a lot of times I just say them both. All right, oh, I want to put my prompt in. So this is something I do, again, after just playing with it. I decided what I liked and what I wanted. So now I actually start putting prompts in those boxes. I didn't do my brain dump one like I should have, but oh well. So I have this prompt here that I use. I got a good portion of this from Marigold. She's another user. She's awesome. And then I just refined it to my liking, added in all the things that I wanted the characters to have. And then I put my outline format that I prefer here. Why do I do this? Why do I put all of this in synopsis? Well, first of all, let's just say I'm out of words. I don't have room. Like if this was it right away, I wouldn't have room to put all of this. I would then use the rewrite box. But in this instance, I had the room, and I know exactly how I want my characters to come out, all the traits I want them to have. I know how I want my outline formatted. So if I put that here in the synopsis box, when I go to generate characters and my outline, they pull directly from synopsis, and you can see what each one pulls from right here. So they're generated based on the previous boxes. So if I put that prompt here, I already have it. And again, let's just say I didn't have room to put that prompt in synopsis. Of course, obviously, I could take it into ChatGPT, but if I just want to stay right here and focus inside Sudowrite, I can use this rewrite box. After it generated my characters, I could put that prompt in to, hey, make my characters this way and format things this way. but I'm trying to show y'all how you can avoid having to use that double word count as much. So again, feel free to prompt in whatever box. Normally I have a prompt in my brain dump too for how I want the synopsis to come out. I just forgot to use it because it's a new prompt for me. And y'all do have access to all of that in the doc that I linked to you. All right, so it gave me my characters, let's see, and it stopped working again. This is another bug that I have let them know about. It hasn't been generating fully.
Hey, Nicole.
Uh-huh.
What's the significance of the asterisks in your prompts there?
Nothing. That is just because here in this document, it was in bold. And whenever you're typing regular, if you put asterisks on the side of something, it turns it bold. If you put it on both sides, it turns it bold. So it just took that formatting. That's all it is. I don't need it. Like I could delete all them and it's not going to do anything. It's just the programming. It saw, hey, this is bold. So it put the asterisk on each side to make it, you know, try to make the bold.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And I thought about putting it regular here, but it was blending in so much with all the other information I was giving to everyone. So I put it in bold just to, you know, make it stand out for y'all to easily grab if you wanted it. All right, so we have Cinderella in her late 20s, describes her. Piercing blue eyes, you're going to see that, or you're going to see striking hazel eyes. I recommend deleting that because when you generate prose, guess what? It's going to say her piercing blue eyes. And this is your next step of your major edits. You would read through and change anything that you don't like. So she's calculating, ruthless, determined to exact revenge. She is patient, but her obsession with vengeance has taken a toll on her psyche. She's intelligent, cunning. Her weakness is her inability to let go of the past. Works as a waitress. So I might change this. You know, if I didn't want her to be a waitress, maybe I wanted her to be a thief or something, I could change that. I asked for Enneagram type, it gave me that. I asked for an archetype, it also gave me that. And I asked for it to describe her dialogue style and speaking styles. So it said dialogue style, direct and cold, varying depending on the individual she is talking to, has a habit of tapping her fingers when deep in thought, and displays a half smile when plotting her revenge. And this is not something you would normally get. That is why I do that character prompt. Because otherwise I'm just going to get a normal little, you know, the physical descriptions, basically. The age, physical description, and her name. So I asked
Hey,
for
hey Nicole, I don't see, and maybe you may have covered this, but I don't see the lie or the misbelief that the character believes about themselves or about the world they live in.
That is not something that is automatically put in, and I don't think I asked for that, do I? Let's see. Nope, I did not ask for that. So if you want that, that is something you could easily put here, you know, change that, modify that prompt in the document I gave y'all. If you want, if you like the rest of it and just want to modify, change it up to fit your needs. That's why we give it to y'all. Y'all are welcome to do whatever you want with it. But yeah, normally it's a basic description, first name, last name, physical description, and age. And then I prompt it to ask for the rest. So it's something I would definitely put in there if you want it. All right, for the outline, and again, I put that prompt inside my synopsis box, telling it ahead of time the format that I want my outline to be in. But another thing you have is these choices. Okay, it is 5. Novel outline is the one you did not see inside of Canvas. Excuse me. This one was created by Elizabeth Ann West, the prompting and everything. It's actually the one I tend to just gravitate to. It's sort of my default. It takes into account your genre and all of the information in your synopsis and everything. If you know for a fact how many chapters you want, hey, why is it not doing this? Bugging me. So if I knew for a fact that I wanted 15 chapters, I could put that right here and it is going to write 15 chapters for me. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do that. And you could do however many. I know a lot of people want more chapters. Just be aware, I don't want people to put too many chapters here and then the last chapters be disappointed because there's not enough information to actually fill out all of those chapters. So for novel outline, you have to make sure you have something in your genre box. If you try to generate novel outline without having something in your genre, it's going to say, hey, go put something in genre, because that's what helps it determine how the outline needs to be. We did ask them to change this as well. As of right now, whenever you select one of these, it doesn't tell you which one's selected. I'll remind them of that. So I do have novel outline selected. I have the write 15 chapters in my genre. Actually, I'm going to put, I really don't believe it makes a difference, but I prefer to write command instructions in square brackets. So I am going to do that. Just in case. It makes me feel better. Oh, this is new right here, this insert template. So if you bring in your own outline, you have to follow this format. You actually don't need that colon after the Act 1, but you do need all the other colons. Or not after Act 2. So after the Act titles, you don't have to have those colons. But you do have to have Act 1, and then, of course, your chapter number and colons. That's the format you need to have. So for people bringing in your own outline, you can now insert this template, and it fills it in for you, and you can copy and paste, all your little sections. I'm just going to click Generate Outline. Any questions so far? I see Manal is just clicking away, giving y'all some information.
Yeah, I just asked people to get the link back, so I put all the link back in.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
All right, so no other questions so far on all of these?
What about a table of contents? Does it create that?
It does not. So this isn't really a formatting thing for you. It's not going to do that. I format with Vellum, which of course does create the table of contents after I bring everything in. I would, you know what? Let's try something. I have an idea. Let me wait for this to be finished and we'll try it out. Let's see, so I asked for 15 chapters. I'm going to see if it did that. Yes, the video will be available as soon as the class is finished. I just have to wait for the video to download to my computer. And I will post it in the Slack video channel. And then Sudowrite staff will post it in the Discord channel. Let me get the Discord link for y'all. Okay, so this is the Slack video channel link. Let me grab. This is the Discord link for y'all. There you go. Do you need a Slack account to get the class documents? No. Did you get the link above? That one that says Twilight Mongoose, that's my document that I shared with everyone.
Yeah, I got it. It doesn't show the table of contents like your other one did. It's I don't know why, if that makes a difference or not.
You mean this?
Yeah, because you have your table of contents on the left right there, workflows and tips and stuff. I
Oh,
don't
no,
see
that, okay, so what this is just when I expand my doc, it shows it right here. So if you expand it inside Notion with that little arrow, it should pull up for you.
Oh, I gotta do it within Notion. Okay, I haven't joined Notion yet, so maybe that's it.
Okay, but you are able to read the doc otherwise?
Yeah, I just,
Okay, good to
I
go.
see everything except the table of contents, so for me to get through that document, I have to probably just click the links you got on there or something.
Yeah. And like I said too, you don't have to pay for the Notion account. There is a paid version. Okay, we see here it did do the 15 chapters like I commanded. Yeah, you don't need to pay for Notion. I use the free account.
Okay.
One thing I know about the file, if you go in the file that she sent, you make a copy, then the table of content shows up into your account. If you just go directly, there's no table of content if you're not signed in.
Okay. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so yes, you do have to have that Slack account to be able to view everything in there. But they are, if you prefer Discord, you know, you can go into there and they are uploading the videos to there and attaching the document links. All right, so somebody asked about the table of contents for this. I'm going to copy this outline right here. This is something I've never tried before. I'm just going to give it a go. I'm going to come over here to add, oh, that's not what I want to do. Let me think for a minute. They changed this on us with this new user interface, so now I have to stop and think. Okay. Up here, if you do not have access to plugins, you're going to have a box that says more. And when you click on it, you'll get these features right here. What I'm trying to get to is first draft, which you should see. I'm going to create a blank doc. And this is how you just, you know, if you don't need a chapter from your outline, you just need a blank page. This is what you'll do in the new user interface. So if you're in regular Sudowrite without this new Story Bible interface, you're going to see in this blank doc a little hyperlink that says generate a first draft. That's what I'm looking for. With this new user interface, I now have to create this blank doc and then go back up here and click into first draft. And this is what you will see whenever you click that hyperlink in your version. So I am going to tell it, let's see. Write a table of contents for this novel. The wording might be off. I don't know if I need to say for this novel or for this novel outline. Let me treat it like I would treat ChatGPT. Write a table of contents for this novel. Here is the novel outline. This might not work, but we're going to see. I'm just going to paste in the outline and we'll see what it does. I like using first draft a lot for nonfiction. That's the way I'm used to prompting it. And you'll see one of my other favorite things is the sparkles.
The sprinkles.
I love the sparkles. I'm not going to lie. I would pay like $5 more a month just to have everything do sparkles. Oh, it stopped. Did it?
Oh, it's short.
What did it do?
You have all your 4 acts and you cut down the act into sections.
Well, it might have finished. It's just short, but yeah. Okay, so this is its version of, you know, a table of contents. And again, I could have had my wording wrong. I don't know if that's something you want to play around with. But I do everything. Oh yeah, here we go. Now I'm reading it correctly. Okay, so this is Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, and then table of contents. Okay, so there you go. Do you have a Discord account already? I'm reading the chat. Will this work? I can't remember who asked. I'm sorry. I can't remember who asked for the table of contents. Would this be usable to you? Would you need something different?
Probably not.
Probably not useful to you.
Probably be all right.
Oh, okay. Nothing else. At least it's a good start to just sort of adjust. Okay, so we're in our outline now.
I got a question, Nicole.
Go ahead.
So in the outline, the novel outline choices,
Mhm.
if none of those were appropriate for what I'm doing, for example, I want to structure like Tom Clancy.
Mhm.
doesn't really follow any of those outline structures. Can I just tell the AI to structure my outline in the style of Ron Clancy?
Let's see. Hmm. I'm not familiar with what his style would be. Is this accurate or no?
Yeah, it kind of is. Looks like it kind of is.
I
I
was
mean,
just,
it's not a story for Tom Clancy, but it looks like it's trying to.
I'm sorry, you said, what was that at the end you said?
It's not the story isn't the storyline isn't something Tom Clancy would
Right.
write, but it, yeah, it looks like it's trying to do that in Tom Clancy style.
And you got to remember too, I didn't think about it at first before I clicked rewrite, but I also have that formatting instructions in my synopsis box. So of course it's bringing, my commands in as well. I didn't think about deleting that at first.
So that brings me to another question I had. If I use the chat GPT to do my outline, then I can't incorporate any of the stuff I put in Sudowrite about style and genre. Is that correct?
You could bring your outline from Chat GPT in here and just paste it in.
Yeah, but then my the stuff in Sudowrite about the genre and style will have no effect on the outline. Is that correct?
Correct, but it will still have an effect on your beats and prose, which is the next step. And I also show y'all my template for, did it finish this one? Okay, it did finish. I'm going to restore my original real quick. So something I do, and I have this prompt for y'all in the document I linked. I will go into Chat GPT, paste in my outline, and then I give it the prompt. So I just gave it that prompt that's here, asking it to fill these out, the genre and style. And y'all, this isn't something I just put together. I spent at least a whole, and I do mean a whole day. I think it was probably more like 2 or 3 days refining this to get the maximum output from the genre and style boxes inside Story Bible. Working with Chat, I told it, gave it all the information it needed about Sudowrite and Story Bible, what each box did directly from the Sudowrite staff, all that. So this isn't stuff I'm just making up and saying, oh, I want this, I want this. This was how Chat GPT helped me. This is what it helped me come up with as far as really fulfilling those boxes and being able to put in anything that I wanted. Obviously, you can change this up if you want to, but that's what I'm doing right now. I gave it this prompt asking it to fill these boxes out, and I asked it to do it for all chapters of the outline. Because of course you want to change up your style box per chapter, as needed. I'm sorry, I thought I clicked that. I meant to be going over that while it was generating. And a lot of times when in the lengthy stuff, it'll tell you that it's not going to do the whole thing, and you could just tell it to fill out the remaining chapters. But this is what that prompt gives you. These outputs right here, and obviously you would go through and, don't put in something that you don't feel connected to. If it doesn't seem to fit your story, don't put it in there if you don't agree with it. But this is something that's made it
Well,
very easy for me to use the genre and style box and switch it up.
That's going to be very helpful for me. I've only been using Sudowrite and ChatGPT for a couple of weeks, but I've noticed that for the outline, just about on every thing I do, ChatGPT gives a better outline.
Mm-hmm.
But I miss some of the style and genre. So that'll help me. Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, definitely the genre box has a huge impact on your outline format and the points that it's going to bring up. So definitely get your genre as in line as you can. And what I tend to do to start that is a smaller version. I give it this, and then I just give it my brain dump. If I have all my details in the brain dump, or even synopsis, I will attach that template and say, hey, here's everything I know about my story. And I give it, and I just say, fill out this template for this novel. And I give it the genre that I want. If I'm doing dark romance, cozy mystery, whatever, say, hey, I'm writing a cozy mystery. Here's everything I know about my story. Please fill this template out for me. And then that output from that initial one, I can put in my genre and style to get things started, so that this outline, before I generate it, it's pulling in all of those style details that I said I wanted. Because genre really does have a good effect on outline. Let's see. And if you hover over these question marks by each box, it'll tell you what each one. So genre is affecting your tropes, tone, and style of your outline, and the prose, of course. Okay, so we have the outline done. And now it's time to start generating beats and prose. So you have two options here. You can generate your chapter, and this is the box you're probably used to inside Story Engine. That's normally at the top. I can just click to create a chapter, or now that I have this filled out, I can come over here and pick whatever chapter I want. Let's see. See if we can find a good action one. And I'm going to show y'all what I'm hoping is there. Okay, let's see, she's poisoned somebody. Okay, which one do y'all want? Do y'all want, let me see if there's any other action up here, but I doubt it. No, okay. Do y'all want to do chapter 7 where she's poisoned the drink, or chapter 6, she's poisoned the drinks up here. She's watching the poisons take effect, watching their suffering in chapter 7, or do we want chapter 14 with the final showdown? Yes, I use GPT-4 for the majority of everything. I pay for that one. I find it's more specific, whereas GP 3.5 can get vague in aspects. I tend to use 4. I also play with Playground a lot. I've been working on the parameters and everything for various aspects. So one day in the very near future, y'all will also have that information from me. So chapter 7, okay. So I'm just going to come over here and click to create chapter 7. And again, I could always name it something different up here. So this is where you will start doing your beats. You can bring in your own beats. Just paste those in this box right here. And again, you will need that formatting of your first beat needs to have the number 1. This is because if you're using a header, which a header is just some additional style guidance you can give. It varies on if I use one or how extensive it is.
Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let me look at my calendar. Yeah, I think so.
Manal, you got that for me?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so like if I was out of my style box, because again, I told you I like to max out my style box. A lot of times I put my POV intents in my header so it doesn't take up room in my style box. So there's all kinds of things you can do in your header here. But if you use a header, which is this is, you need to have that number 1 because it tells the AI everything in front of this one is a header, everything after this one is a beat. It doesn't even matter if I have 1, 11, 9, bunch of random numbers after that 1. As long as I have this, that's all that matters. Okay, so you can copy in your beats, or you could just click to generate your beats. You have your summary right here. I'm going to generate them. Something else I have also done to guide the AI more is in this chapter summary inside the outline. Let me jump back down to that real quick. Oh, it's not going to let me because it's auto scroll. So bad. So something I've been doing recently too, and I'm still playing around with to find, the best wording, but you can put instructions right here. So I have my chapter 7, right? I'm going to put my instructions after that. Let's just say I wanted it to focus on the effects of the poison, detailing the gruesome. This is the chapter. Okay, I want to make sure I was in the right chapter. Detailing the gruesome deaths that take place and show Cinderella's satisfaction. I don't think that's not really the word I want, but we're going for it. So you can put some guidance right here, what you want this chapter to focus on specifically. I need to turn this off. What you want the chapter to focus on more specifically. And let's test this theory out because I've only played with this a few times. So let's look at our old beats that we generated before typing in that command. As you see now, since I changed it in the outline, it takes effect immediately in your summary up here. But these beats were generated without that. So let's look at these real quick. Begin with a vivid description of the ball. Introduce Cinderella as she witnesses the effect of the poison taking hold. Describe the physical symptoms they display and the panic that starts to set in. It actually kind of did that already, at least in these two. Okay, so it showed these two, with the poison and talking about displaying the effects and all that. And unless I'm missing something that's not really talked about elsewhere. Before I test our little theory here, these last beats, a lot of times you'll see how it's more of a style guidance. So 2 things. First of all, before I generate prose, like when I click to generate prose right here, the AI actually looks at all of these beats before it starts generating. So it does, in fact, read this. We've confirmed this with the developers. But another thing you can do is if you don't want these in beats and you like the way they're worded, you can take these and put those as your header. And we've actually found this to work really well, especially if you get some really good ones. Throughout the chapter, maintain a fast pace, suspenseful tone. I'm just going to reword that. Actually, you know what? I don't even want this one in there. So again, just doing some style guidance here. So originally, these 2 beats, 3 and 4, show the suffering of the poisons. Now, I have this guidance in my chapter, so I actually want to regenerate these beats, and I want to test out this theory, see how much of an effect this has. I know it worked really well on detailing like sexual tension and things in the romance books. Let's see. Nope, it didn't do it as much as I wanted it to. I was hoping, if anything, it maybe just did an extra beat. That's about it. So moving on, actually, I want to restore the old ones because I did like how the old ones came out. Gotta love the history button. Okay, so now whenever you go to generate prose, you have, I only have 3 options.
Nicole, just before you go to that,
Uh-huh.
you already got that. When you gave those instructions, you put them in the beats, the AI instructions.
Which ones?
The last ones that you did, you put instructions in the beats.
Uh-huh.
So wouldn't you put the AI instructions in the outline for chapter 1 and then generate?
You can, but the header I put here, so I did put the focus here because I wanted to pull that in. And actually, if I did some wording, I could change this wording actually to make it probably pull this in more, such as asking it to graphically detail everything. But the header that I put in here, the instructions in the beats, that was just more for stylistic choices for my wording on my prose. And again, remember, I tend to max out my boxes. So a lot of times I don't have a lot of room in my outline to put a whole bunch of stuff. So I want to keep these instructions just nice and simple, focusing on the whole scene. But inside this beats box is when I can say, okay, I want the words to sound like this. So I could tell it to use crude language, use vulgar language. I can change up inside each beat. If I wanted to focus on violence starting in this beat or whatever, I could have instructions here. This is where you can really customize and add in all the details because you have those 2,000 words. So it's just really easier to add things here.
Okay, my question is, that header that you put in with those instructions in the beats,
This one?
won't do anything until you generate your prose. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. That's what I was missing. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm not even going to put that in there. We'll do, because we're going to do the new thing as well. Okay, so I refreshed my screen and ta-da, we now have 4 models to choose from. Yay! And I know I sound silly, but y'all trust me, we are so excited about this, especially spicy authors or people that just like a lot of violence. I did a video on my YouTube about this one the other day, and it actually did really good nonfiction work, surprisingly. So these are now the models that you get to choose from. Most Accurate uses GPT-4. If you know, like you've nailed down everything that you want to happen in your scene, all of these beats are just perfected. You don't want the story to veer in any kind of way. Most Accurate is likely the one you want to use. That's the good thing about Most Accurate. The bad thing about Most Accurate is it's very on the nose with the wording. So you really, really, really have to focus on your style box or your header and get that prose nailed down. Something I found, let's see, this one doesn't look like it actually has it. These beats came out really good. I should have thumbs upped them. That's something too. When you generate beats in prose, you'll have some little icons, thumbs up, thumbs down. Please try to get in the habit of using those. I really need to practice what I preach. As soon as you make an edit in the box, those icons disappear. Or if you move to a new box, those icons disappear. But if you use the thumbs down and thumbs up, it helps them know, okay, something, if a lot of people are thumbs downing all of a sudden with a certain model, it helps them pinpoint, okay, something's going on here. Let's look into this. And of course, you can thumbs up and they just know everything's still going good. If you thumbs down, a box will pop up and saying, hey, what didn't you like? Giving them information helps. If like your beats were just very weird, nothing seemed to follow, let them know that. I can't show y'all on this one. Okay, maybe this one. So with most accurate, when you have wording like this in your beats, I would bet money most accurate is going to pull this into its prose a lot of the time. That's the downfall of most accurate. Best Prose uses Claude 2. That's my go-to. Well, before this one now. It uses Claude 2. It does a really good job at the dialogue, in my opinion. The bad thing about Best Prose is it's likely to say, you know what? I don't really like beat number 7 or 9, and I'm just going to change things up. It really does, y'all. It will veer from the story. I'm open to ideas, so I don't mind it as much, as a lot of people do. I love Best Prose, but that's the downfall of Best Prose, is it tends to veer away from your beats a little bit and make up its own stories. It really wants to be part of the writing process. Fastest is GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is fine-tuned for dialogue. So generally, it will have the most dialogue. There's been a couple of times I've found it seems to be pulling more from regular 3.5 or 4 because the dialogue just isn't there. But it's really good for dialogue. I don't think I've ever generated a scene that actually had the correct amount of dialogue where I didn't like it. There's just something about it. It reads very well, in my opinion. This new unfiltered one is Weaver, which is Mansard Text model. It is unfiltered, just like it says. So whereas before you could use these if you wrote sex or violence, a lot of times it would do those, but there were plenty of times when it would say, you know what, I can't write that because the AI models are trained to, not promote harmful content. And I tend to write a lot of harmful content, I'm not going to lie. So with this new model, you won't get that error message. The thing we have found when we tested this the other day in class, if I were to do it on all of these beats right here, which I will actually show y'all, it veers very drastically from the scene, unless they changed up some prompting since between yesterday and today. What we have discovered, the best thing, if you know for a fact you're going to use that unfiltered model, which I know many of us are from now on, this would be my workflow. I would generate the beats, edit them to make sure they're all in order, everything's, flows seamlessly together. But then I would actually only probably use 4 beats at a time. So I would take these out, copy them into a little document over here to save them. And then I would run that unfiltered model with just those 4 beats. It stays on track a lot more. The second thing to remember with that unfiltered model, it does not do well with an extensive chapter summary. If you have a whole lot of information going on here, again, it will tend to veer from it. So it's good for like just a plot point for it to focus on. It does really well. So things to keep in mind with the models. This is new with the new user interface. You shouldn't have that on the old story engine yet. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, we did test it on the Weaver. Okay, so for most accurate, this tends to be right on. For best prose and fastest, they tend to actually produce about 400 words less each. Unfiltered actually went a good bit over. I don't remember how much it was, but it actually went over, which is actually in line with the Weaver model. I'm going to do fastest real quick, as it really is the fastest. And I can tell you right off, yeah, this doesn't sound like the normal. Well, it's doing better. I usually love the opening of fastest. And I'm going to go ahead and stop it. Actually, I'll let it go because fastest tends to run pretty fast, just like its name says.
It's harder to pause with the new version.
Fastest actually usually generates all the beats faster than it is right now.
You try to click on pause, but you didn't do it.
No,
There
I
you
didn't. No, I didn't click on it. So fastest actually does normally a faster job than that. And I'm just going to show the openings. And the other models, I'm just going to do like the first 2 strides. I forgot to say, a stride is 2 beats at a time. That's how things work. So 1 and 2 of your beats up here, or a stride, 3 and 4. That's how, that's what it is. This is a beat, this is a beat, this is a stride. All right, so this is fastest. Grand ball is a sight to behold.
So every time you hit the pause, it'll just like, if you do it right away, it'll just do 2 of the beat. It'll finish the 2 beats.
Correct. Yes, sir. And that's what a lot of people do. They will generate the prose, immediately hit pause after it starts, and they will edit this first stride. So all of your edits that you make here, if I were to take things out, or let's say I wanted to reword this to make people talk a certain way, when I hit continue, it takes into account all of my changes up here. So a lot of people like to do that. Again, I'm one that's very open to ideas. So I usually just let my prose go, read through it all and get some ideas, and then regenerate if I need to. But that is a very good way to, pausing is a very good way to be more in control of everything. And it does read back and take your edits into account. All right, so this is fastest, into the ballroom.
I'm going to miss this, but is there a way to make it take just 1 beat at a time in a stride, or is it always going to be 2 beats at a time?
The only way you could do that would be to just have 1 beat in your beat box up there.
Okay.
I was just trying to check out the dialogue real quick, because to me, that's the best way to actually see the difference in them.
Yeah, I like the idea of stopping the beats just because you want to really add your own voice to the story and not have that generated by something outside of yourself. Other people feel different. Like the fast, I've been told, is good for a first draft.
Yeah, and that's something to keep in mind too. It really irks me, and I know it's not my place. I'm not going about to get on a soapbox or anything, I promise. But it irks me that a lot of people are coming into this program and saying, hey, I wanted to do this real quick. They basically just want to push a button, have their book done, and publish it. Please, y'all, AI already has a bad name for writers. That's just going to make it worse. So like he said, really put in your voice. That's what I do. I do probably 4 rounds of edits, counting my final read through as my 4th. So always, whether you're either editing now, stopping this, editing here, or you're going to be editing later. And if you're not editing, you're doing it wrong. So that's really what it comes down to. Do you want to spend the time to edit now, which possibly saves you word counts, because again, it takes into account those edits as it keeps going forward? Or do you want to spend the time editing later?
The other thing is a lot of the publishing forums that you can actually get onto, like I'm just gonna toss one out, which is the Amazon one. They have software that's gonna determine whether you're gonna be what the likelihood of artificial intelligence is writing the story, and then they'll decline stuff based on that.
See, and now too, you have to acknowledge if you used AI to write your book whenever you publish on Amazon, and how much of it was written by AI. I'm going to let it start that second stride, because that's typically when the dialogue starts coming in good.
That's a hard thing to quantify, especially if, let's say, the entire brain dump is yours and you're just using it as a tool for organization. So what percentage of it is your software, and what percentages of it is my imagination?
So I like the wording of it. It's basically asking, did you generate the majority of this with AI and do very little editing? Did you generate the majority of it with AI, but you did a lot of editing? Or was it just generated a little bit with AI and those same things, a little or a lot of editing? So those to me tend to help. It could be better, yes, but I'm liking the wording so far on it. Something I wanted to point out here, a new difference. So in the old story engine, you would do, let's say if I wanted to do each model of prose, I would generate, a new chapter and generate that prose. Because if I did it in the same, it would actually override anything. So, I did the fastest generation first. Let's say I wanted to do best prose, which I just did second. If I did that in the same box inside of original story engine, it would overwrite what was in there. So you would make a new chapter silo. You can still do that here. I could, easily go in and add another chapter 7 for each one. But the new feature on this model with this new user interface is I clicked into best Prose. So here's my fastest stuff. And then I told it, you know what, I want to use best Prose. And I said restart, and it just put the best Prose version underneath here. So that's something new with this model, which I do like. Okay, so this is best Prose. So fastest actually disappointed me a little bit. Didn't shine like it normally does. Let's
Nicole,
check Prose.
if you, let's say you generated, you hit the generate on the Prose, and you don't make any changes, and you generate again, should you get the exact same results?
No, oh no. You'll likely get very different results.
All right.
The
So
AI is more of a probability thing. Like it'll look at this word alive and it'll say, okay, what are the chances of orchestra coming next? And it kind of goes by probabilities more than anything else.
So if I generate the Prose and I'm reading it, and there's one of the beats that it used, I don't like what it did. I can't go back up into beats and give instructions because I've already generated it, correct?
Now, once you pause, you can go back into the beats and start giving instructions, and it's just going to depend on, let me let this finish real quick. Go ahead and pause it because it did a lot of dialogue in this one. So this was most accurate here. Okay, so if I didn't like anything, let me make sure I understand this right. You're saying if you generated all this, this is the first stride, you didn't like it, so you want to change things, right?
I didn't like some of it, so I want to put, I want to give the AI some instructions in the beat.
So again, first of all, edit whatever you didn't like if you can. Now just remember, it already generated these because we generated that first stride. So you can either put your instructions here and start it going forward, or you can put your instructions, go back here and put your instructions here. If you do that, because if you put your instructions up here because you want it to rerun these first 2 beats, you got to click restart. If you're just wanting to put your instructions and you're wanting it to just continue forward with those instructions, you would click continue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, so let's say I didn't pause. It did the whole Prose.
Okay.
I wanna, there's parts in that Prose that I said, oh shoot, I should have given the AI instructions to do this. Can I go back into beats, put the instructions in, and generate? I don't think I can because it's just gonna give a whole new spin on it.
Right. If you like the majority of the Prose that was output, you just wanted some little minor changes with instructions. Yeah, you're going to get a completely different output than if it generated the whole thing.
Okay. All right.
And there are a lot of us that actually do generations in each model and we combine them, to our liking. So that's why we always say, play around with it, find what works for you. So we did fastest up here, which it let me down. I guess I've been bragging on it too much. So like I said, I like the dialogue for judging the Prose, the different models. So this was fastest. Not impressive. These two aren't good, aren't bad. So yeah, I don't like that ending, definitely. All right, let's go to, this was all fastest right here. All I couldn't help but notice I'm seeing. And I'm just kind of scrolling and stopping so y'all can read a bit, see what y'all think. So it definitely got better here towards the end. Okay, let me scroll down to best prose was next. All right, so this was best prose. Like I said, this is the one that tends to veer away from the story a bit, from your beats. Should move through the crowd at the ball. Descriptions. Do like that. Spotted her stepmother and stepsisters. And then it's switching over to the people that ingested the poisoning. So this is best prose. That's not bad. And this was definitely more descriptive as far as the poisoning. And this one was most accurate. More descriptions. Most accurate tends to open up with describing the surroundings unless you prompt it to open in medias res. So most accurate will generally open up describing all of the surroundings. Best prose more jumps into the action a little bit faster. Okay.
Nicole,
Uh-huh.
some people are starting to drop off the class, so we almost at 2 hours point.
Okay.
Just
Let
in
me
case you want
do,
to say goodbye to the one who wants to leave.
yeah, let me do the
And-
obviously anybody that needs to leave can leave. This is the last model I'm going to show real quick. This is the brand new unfiltered one. I'm not a fan of most accurate. It just never really appeals to me. And this is the unfiltered model going to come through now. And then I'm going to pause it. And you'll see whenever you're doing this particular model, it's going to pause a lot just because it has a low context window and a low output. So they're having to do some back end prompting. So you'll see it kind of stutter. You just got to give it some time. Something I forgot to mention too about this unfiltered model. I actually found, because I love Weaver's Prose, I have messed with Weaver from the company directly or, through Open Router, things like that, outside of Sudowrite where there was no prompting involved. I loved Weaver's output with no style guidance whatsoever. So actually, when I do this model, I will more than likely have my style deleted except for asking for a third person past tense, which I like to write in. So that's another little tip about Weaver. Thank you, Michael. And don't forget, I don't know if you were here, but we do have the 201 classes starting tomorrow, 4 days in a row, where I'll be walking everybody through this session. So y'all are all welcome to register. Again, we will be going through this slowly with each box at a time, helping people learn what goes in each box and how to refine the output and everything over those 4 days. Do we have any questions? Just waiting for this.
I have a question. I was just wondering, in my own text, sometimes I'm bedeviled with typos. Does sudo help with that?
Oh, like a grammar checker type? No,
Yeah.
not really. I would, use like Pro Writing Aid or Grammarly for that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, look, it gave us the end right here. So this is the unfiltered model. Did somebody else have a question?
Yeah, I had just a general question. I've written like the first 2 chapters of the book already before I even got into Sudowrite, and so everything is there. And like I say, I had the outline already set up. It's almost like writing a nonfiction book at this point because I pretty much know what's going to happen, and I want to have more control over it. What I was kind of hoping that Sudowrite would do is I probably wouldn't need the story Bible or the story generator so much as I would just need like something to look over my shoulder in a sense and make suggestions that I'm telling rather than showing, and places where I can shorten it up or tighten up the dialogue or something.
We can do
Those
that.
kind of tweaks I'm kind of looking for. Is that would not be in Story Bible though, would it?
Not in Story Bible. So I'm going to just go ahead and turn it off so we don't have this on the left. Okay. So I'm going to create a new document right here. And again, I'm going to use this typewriter to get rid of this, because if you're not using Story Bible, you don't need the Beats box. So if you have stuff already written, you can put that in here. Just paste in your chapters that are already written. Let's say you had your chapter 1, chapter 2, you needed a transition scene. You could paste in your chapter 1. I would put my chapter 2 underneath, and you could actually put something in commands in square brackets. I'm just going to use general thing. So we have chapter 1 up here. Chapter 1 words here. And then so I could put something, this is just for a transition scene. This is how I kind of do them sometimes, is I'm going to say Judy and Tim leave the courthouse. Because, that ties into my next chapter, but there's a time jump and I just kind of need to fill in that space. So I can actually highlight this. I can use the describe, which is here. You can turn these on and off as you wish. So I can use describe, or I could use, apparently I need more for expand. I think it's 20 words or something for expand. Let's use describe. I could also use the rewrite button up here, which gives me some options. So this, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
This is where actually a lot of people write. I know I could think of 3 off the top of my head. They don't use Story Engine or Story Bible. They write right here. So these are what we call laser tools. These can really help you refine things. So you see here, this is, I don't know what this is going on here. Probably because it didn't have any real context, since we didn't have actual words. But that's like one method.
Can you copy and paste from the Story Engine then?
You can. That's actually what I do in my second or third round of edits, whichever. I lose count at this point. But like, I generate my prose. I copy it into Scrivener because I like editing in Scrivener, having that side-by-side feature and the highlights. So I do
what I meant for the point of this demonstration, can you just copy one of the proses into here and then show him the tools?
Let's, oh, that one's right here. So I'm going to do, this one had the most. Okay.
I think there's a button down at the bottom says move to document or something like that.
Yeah, that's inside Story Engine.
Oh, okay.
I think it gives you choices like show, don't tell.
And that was the reason for the interface change too, because now we can turn around and use these laser tools more instead of having to send to that doc, So we have it describing the setting and everything. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to go to rewrite. And these are your options. You can rephrase it. Let me get this chat box out of my way again. So you have these options for the rewrite. And I'm just going to go with customize and add more exciting dialogue.
I've been watching a lot of these videos.
This is normally how I do the 101s, is generating in Canvas, bringing that over, and then showing y'all how to use First Draft, and then inside these laser tools. Like I said, I wanted to offer something different for this session, since y'all do have those older videos. Kind of give y'all more experiences to choose from. So that's one way to start working things in, is the rewrite button. I also use this rewrite button for my beats a lot. I will choose, I'm not going to do it, but the show not tell and more descriptive, I actually use those on SE's generated beats to expand them to my liking more. Well, let's say you wrote all of this. And now I want to describe this or expand it. I want to expand it. So that brings in more of this aspect right here with her watching them to start dying by the poison. So I could input all of that in here. Now remember, all of these come out of your word count, regardless of if you use them or not.
Right.
Something to keep in mind, if I just, like I have my mouse cursor just right here, nothing highlighted. If I click insert, it's going to just insert it after this mouse point. If I highlight this and then click insert, it's going to replace that highlighted stuff.
I see.
And then it shows you. Now let's do, you know what? This ended too fast, so I could describe this again. Let me do. Let's see. This is really where you'd have to play around with. Not many people do the prompting here. Ryan Rivers did. His videos are excellent for if you know this is where you want to be, this is the kind of work you want to do, and not in Story Engine or Story Bible. Look at Ryan Rivers' video in the Slack channel in that course videos, because this is where he works all the time, even in his own books. So he is just really good at all this.
What I was also looking for was like consistency. Let's say I say, because a lot of times when I'm writing something, I'll get like to like 3 or 4 chapters down the road and I'll realize, oops, I said something about a character that was inconsistent, you know, with earlier chapters or something. And I was kind of hoping AI would be able to help me spot those issues.
So you have some other options too. Let me go back up here to where she was. Set off on a new journey. Yeah, I don't like that. So remember, whenever you're using the features I'm about to show you, this write button, it reads back 1,000 words. So I think that's what you're going to be happy with. So I'm going to delete some stuff real quick here that tried to tie everything up. Let's delete all that.
Nicole?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have to leave the class. We've been 2 hours in and I have some work to do.
All right, ma'am. Thank you for all your help.
No problem. Great
Okay.
class, Nicole.
Thank
and
you.
there is that plugin at 3.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Bye, everyone. Nice to see you.
Bye. Nice to see you.
Okay, so we have our, let's just pretend everything's perfect from here on out because you've been writing and editing and everything. But now you got this, but you're just not quite sure what you want to happen. You have 2 choices. If you click this drop down by the right box, you can come down to write settings, and this is where you can make some changes too for these cards that appear on the right. So I can say, if I just want 1 card to show up, how many words I want in the cards. This creativity slider, if I put it all the way down, that means it's really going to stick to everything that it's already happening so far. If you put it up, it's going to start throwing in some extra ideas. So I just tend to keep it in the middle. In the key details box, you can put like your genre or anything that you need to know. You can put a few style descriptors. It holds, I can't remember the exact number. It's either 70 or 100 words here in the key details box. So you can put quite a bit, and I'll often do my transition scenes by letting it know, hey, they're here in the previous scene. I need them to be there or start doing this, things like that. So you have the key details where you could put things in. you have two choices on the right. You can just do auto write, which is what I'm going to do. Make sure my cursor, because it's going to start writing after your cursor. It's going to read back 1,000 words and just start writing. And it gives you the output there. And again, you can thumbs up, thumbs down. These little stars right here are so you can favorite things. That way it defaults to the history and showing everything. But if you have something favorited, that will be the only thing in this list if you, for whatever reason, need to condense those. So I could put that in here. I can also, let's see, it tried to tie it up again. Not like that. Now my mouse is here after this little section of input. The other option is you could, let me do my tone. I didn't even mention that, sorry. The tone is something that could, you can click change up per scene before you click the right and everything. I'm just gonna leave it at ominous. But you can do guided write. You can type in your own things. Let's see what this will do. I'm going to tell it something and just click go. And then it'll give me the options here. If I don't have an option or don't have anything in mind, I can come over here to guided write, just turn on these suggestions. And her step family apparently is going to get charged with the crimes of her poisoning. So not that great, but again, I didn't have anything in key details to let it know, you know, more about the story. And this is something that they are working on for the near future. So all of these options, the auto write and this guided write, all of these things, the rewrite especially, they're going to start seeing, like if you have stuff in your story Bible for your genre and style right here, so that might be even worth filling in just for the future whenever they do it. When you use these things up here, it's going to be able to look in your genre box, say, oh, she has this as her trope, or, you know, this is the genre that she's writing in. Oh, she wants third person or first person. You know, it'll be able to look at those things in the future. It doesn't do it now, but that is what they want to happen in the future. So there'll be that more connectivity, whereas you won't get these things that, hey, this really doesn't make sense for my story, you know, so you have to do a lot of editing.
Yeah.
So I think this is where you will be happiest. And like I said, I highly recommend Ryan Rivers' videos. He's really good.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Well, I am sorry about going over, sort of, because I had fun.
That was good. This is very informative.
Yeah, this was really informative. Thank you very much. Gonna sign up for the class tomorrow.
Awesome. Like I said, it's 4 days in a row. That first class will be very beginner friendly and slow paced as we get going. And then the last couple of days is when we'll be able to go more into start refining and really honing in on how you can change things up.
That's good because I'm slow.
Hey, plenty of us are. Do I have?
I was gonna say I would attend too, but many of my evenings this week are already spoken for, so.
I will be recording it. Let me post this just in case somebody else came on and didn't have it. And my YouTube channel here, I do post Sudowrite videos on there.
Okay.
And I'll be recording it and posting it on there as well for y'all to see.
Perfect.
Does any
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome. For those who hopped on late and aren't sure what we're talking about, it's these Write With Me sessions. There's 4 of them starting tomorrow, 4 days in a row, 7 p.m. Central. Let me copy it. And you can register here if you're interested. So we will be, you know, going through everything, and just I'm hoping y'all leave those 4 days having a really, really good grasp on Story Engine. So, Do we have any other questions?
I gotta get going. Thank you very much, Nicole.
Thank you for attending. All righty. Last chance. If y'all have any questions, just let me know. Speak up, type in chat. Otherwise, thank y'all very much for coming and hanging out with me for the past 2 hours. And I will see y'all later. Hopefully I'll see a bunch of y'all tomorrow in the sessions. So y'all have a good day. Bye, everyone.